10 o'clock, y'all. It's Lancaster Woodturners Coffee Hour number 256. What a nice number that is for June the 5th, 2025. My name's John Kelsey. I'll be your moderator this morning. Let me just shift my view here to multi-speaker. There we go. It's going to be a show and tell morning. Before we get started down the asking for show of hands, I know Duxbury has stuff, and I know Don has stuff, and I hope some more of you do. I'm just going to show you a very short video that explains why Ziegler isn't here this morning. The club has had the use of Powermatic lathe belonging to Rick Baker for the last several years, and every year we take it out of the space that we're in and take it over to the Mid-Atlantic Symposium and then put it back. And what you all probably don't know, those of you who don't live around here, is that we're in a mezzanine space over a rather large commercial cabinet shop. So there's only one way that lathe comes in and out, and the club is shopping for new lathes, and there's only one way they're going to come in and out as well. And I'm going to show you what that way is. It's a class in forklift. And it's just a little 5-minute clip, and then we'll go on to the hands.
Oh, yeah? Okay. That worked out good for you?
Here we go. This is looking down from the mezzanine. Here comes Ben with the forklift. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. You can see the kind of tight space in there. These guys it's a busy shop, you know. They make countertops and they don't build cabinets. They buy and install them, but they got an enormous space and they use it all. So here comes the forklift. This is taken 2 years ago for Mid-Atlantic. This exact thing is going on there this morning, except Barry's not there. Ziegler's doing it. Same forklift driver though, Ben Kauffman. And you're going to see a little master class in forklift right about now. There goes the lathe. Out onto the mezzanine top of the stairs. Here's the forklift in place. There goes the Powermatic into the air.
Oh no.
What you're going to see in a minute is, well, you'll see. He's got about an inch of clearance on either side. And as he gets back a little ways, he's got about an inch of clearance to the piping there, which is the dust system.
I thought Barry was going to ride that down.
Yeah, well, kicking your life in your hands. I thought it was going to go over right there. Here comes his opportunity to take out the ductwork. And he dodges the bullet. Man, he dodges the bullet by about an inch, it seems like. That's the always recognizable Matt Kilareski profile that just backed out. And that's how it's done.
Well, what an afternoon.
Okay, all y'all. Good morning again. Let's see. We're going to go to let's get any club news out of the way. Lancaster Club Open Shop is not this Saturday, but next Saturday. Lancaster Club monthly meeting was 2 nights ago, and Toby Booter did a great demo on how he colors and dyes burls. I logged in for most of it on Zoom. I'm no good at going out at evenings anymore. Any other local club news we should mention here?
Nittany Valley Woodturners, we're going to be having our club picnic at one of our local parks on Saturday the 14th.
And Lancaster Club picnic is, I believe, July 1st, whatever the Tuesday is around July 1st, also at Manheim Township, Kiwanis Park. Anybody else with club news?
Quad State Managers going to have a mini symposium on the 21st. Public is welcome.
What is a mini symposium?
We're going to have probably 12 to 15 lathes set up, different items at each lathe, a master turner at each lathe demonstrating, and we have a lot of newbies in the club, so they can practice their skills with a professional.
Will that be at the Makerspace?
At the Makerspace in LaVale, Maryland.
Wonderful. Anybody else?
Susquehanna Woodturners. We are our meeting is this coming Tuesday, and we will be electing a new treasurer.
And back to you, Vasco. What are you going to do that's special at the club picnic?
Well, we have a challenge of making a ball, and we're going to have a little game with the ball and have some prizes for everybody. I'm not going to tell anybody what the game is, but we'll have fun.
And at the Lancaster picnic on July, the similar event is going to be the frisbee toss. The turn a disc-like object, and then we'll have a measured toss. And the prize is always the jam chuck, which in some way consists of a jar of jam mounted on a piece of wood. So, anybody else? Okay, I'm going to go to the hands. Got a lovely show of hands this morning. I'm dying to see what Duxbury has, because I know I'm dying for you guys to see what he has, because I know what it is. So I'm going to give you Duxbury first. Go ahead, Dux.
Well, Ken, you get a kick out of this one because these are balls. I call them spheres. Anytime two spheres intersect each other, the point of intersection is a perfect circle. So this is, wait a minute, what am I doing here?
Well, you had it in your hand last time.
Yeah. These are two 4-inch spheres, and they intersect just enough that the intersection leaves a circle in between them.
We challenged you to see if you could do 3. What happened next?
Well, and I can do 3. This is 3. This is 3 the easy way.
Yeah.
And this is 3 the very hard way.
Duxbury, you're amazing.
Well,
how'd you do that? You got anything to say about that, or do we just have to puzzle it out?
well, you have to draw it. You have to draw it and get it exactly right. Well, it starts on a block of wood, and I screw a tenon on here. I started making tenons with a screw in them, and I screw it on here, and I turn this thing this way, and I turn a tenon on the bottom of here, 3/8 long. Then once I got a tenon on here, I can take this off and go down in here and hollow this out. And I actually have a center here and a center here. I turn the outside of the ball this way. You turn 2/3 of the ball. You turn all the way from here to here. But then you got to remove this tenon and this tenon, and there's a little bit of carving. you can carve underneath these, but you still got to carve out that last part. But anyway, once you get the top turned, you have to draw this. The top view gives you the spacing between centers. The side view gives you the plane of this, how much flat you're going to have and how much flat you're going to have on the bottom. This is a segment out of a sphere. It can be taken up or down. So that's got to be exactly right. I draw all my work, almost all my work. But
so really the question is, why would anyone want this?
well, that's a damn good question, because I got all this. Rita says, "You're going to make more?" I says, "No, I don't have any place." She said, "First off, we don't have any place to stack these things. Next thing, they're absolutely worthless." And
Now you put your guacamole in one of those, it's going to be in the other two. I mean, what's the
yeah,
point?
you can put your soup in here and eat it out of here or something. The other one, if I did another one, I would do 5. 4 is hard to do, but 5, you can put 2 more balls here, and you'd have a 5. But I'm done doing this because I'm running out of room. I got to show you one other thing. You talk about air drying. I do some normal stuff too. This is a maple burl. And I'm doing all natural edge. This is a pecan natural edge for. This is out of the neighbor's tree. We have a lot of pecan trees around here, and this is a bigger one. Anyway, I do some normal stuff too, but.
Well, what I really want to know is, does anybody have any questions for Jim?
I'd like to know what direction the grain is on the multi-bowl. When you get making them 3 in a row, which way is that grain?
The grain's going this way, straight up.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, if I did 4, I would position it at 45 degree. So I'd have 45-degree grain. You're not going to see 4, believe me. But if you'd want to do 4, do it at 45 degrees, because then you would have grain going at 45 degrees. You wouldn't have end grain and side grain.
I don't understand why you wouldn't actually turn 4 bowls, sand a flat on them till you got the size disc you wanted, and glue them together. I mean, what?
Well, that'd be the easy way, John. This is not too bad. You put tenons on both ends and spin it and turn the ball. And like I say, I screw a tenon on here. I got a bunch of these things. They're about, I don't know, 1 3/4 inches to fit my chuck, about a 1/2 inch thick. And they got a number 12, probably 1.5 inch screw, metal screw, goes right through the center. But you can screw those on anywhere. And then you turn a tenon on this end. And that it's a wonderful way to mount things. Not only that, if you're doing something way off center, that's over there. If you're doing something off center, you could screw these tenons on anywhere and do off center turning and put a tenon on the other end, and then you can hollow out wherever you want or do multiples or whatever. But that really works nice. This is just fun to do.
I've got 2 questions. The first is, what kind of speed do you use? And the second was, do you do anything to balance it? Do you have any kind of balancing technique?
No, Ken, I learned to turn on a shopsmith, so you kind of follow them around the room. On the center here, I probably turn it, 1,500 or something. On the end, I'm probably turning about 600 because this is flying around like a baseball bat. It's kind of scary. But anyway, it's just fun. Why do we do this stuff?
All right. Anybody else questions for Dux? All right. Well, thank you very much, Duxbury. It's always a delight to see you with these inventive things that you do.
Well, you never know.
thrill for us all.
Yeah.
I got a whole bunch of hands here today, so I am going to go to get back to my multi-speaker view and start working down through them. I know we gave you the short sheet several times. Bowman, you want to go next?
No, go ahead. You got a whole bunch of guys.
Okay, Glen Crandall.
All right. My son is a falconer. He actually runs a business to get rid of pest birds, and he operates in Texas. Actually, does some work for DFW Airport. Birds roost in some of the parking areas and make a mess out of things. And he takes a couple of falcons out there every once in a while and turns them loose, and they drive off all the pest birds, get rid of them. So I am building a bowl for him. This is going to be the feature ring.
Nice.
I had a commercial outfit laser cut those out segments, and they did a beautiful job. I couldn't believe they went through 3/4 inch of hard maple, and
So they cut the opening in the maple and they cut the black. What is it? Blackwood?
no, they cut the opening in the maple, and I filled the gap with black resin.
Ah, so those are not African blackwood or something in there.
No, they're I think it may have been total boat or aluminite. I'm not sure which I've done.
Okay. Can we see the inside? Tip it a little bit so we can see the inside.
Well,
Okay.
the inside finished yet, obviously.
Yeah.
It goes all the way through.
Yeah. And so how big is this bowl going to be, or what is it going to be? A bowl, a platter?
This is 12 inches in diameter. So the bowl will probably be about 6 inches tall.
Ah, okay.
This ring a little over 2 inches.
So we'll see more of it as you get further along, eh?
Yeah, and I've got a question.
Is the rest of the ball going to be segmented too?
Pardon me?
Is the rest of the bowl going to be segmented?
Yes, it'll be hard maple.
Okay, what else you got?
I've got this burl.
Hold it up higher. Yeah, everybody see it.
And I have no idea in the world how to cut it or what to do with it. And I don't know what it's about 5 inches thick, and
Like about a foot long. Yeah.
yep, just a little less. It's a beautiful piece, and I want to get the best out of it that I can. I don't want to leave any of this stuff on the floor.
No matter how you cut it, you'll hate yourself the next day.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
I've been there, done that.
Yeah, I'd be for making little inlays out of it, but that's me.
Well,
I could see making a bunch of little boxes out of it too.
yeah.
With a nice finial and as a lid.
Do we know what kind of burl it is?
It's a madrone.
So it's hardwood all the way through. It's not like soft like thuya. Yeah.
No, it's junk.
Hey, Glenn, I saw a design where somebody made a cupcake, and that pokey part that sticks out on the top, they use that as the top of the cupcake. So
Yeah,
you can slice that off fairly thin and just make that the lid of a box, which is a cupcake.
yeah.
And then the rest of it, the rest of it is great inlay material.
I've done some vases. I take two pieces of burl like that and match them in a form so that the bumpy part makes a diagonal across the vase,
Yeah.
and like fill the void with resin. So there's another option. I don't think your piece is quite wide enough to split down the middle. A little bit wider piece would have been fantastic. You'd have had a really nice vase out of that.
When you say down the middle, you mean this
No.
way?
Okay, so yeah,
Okay.
turn it back away. Turn it back the way you had it. Yeah. So there's that one black line I see there. If you were if it was a little wider, you could rip it down that center black line, and then it'd give you two pieces that would match. But I don't think you're quite wide enough. You could, but you'd lose a lot of the bottom part of that in order to keep your mold as a square.
Uh-huh.
Right.
I see a whole lot of shallow little dishes or something, or shallow little, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, was a couple of small bowls.
It's smaller than you got drawn on there.
Yeah. Well, I didn't draw those. I
Yeah.
don't know where the lines came from, but I got this burl from Cindy Drosta from one of her IRD sessions. They were having a drawing, and I wound up with this piece.
Well, she would just be turning boxes or bowls that have the knobbly edge around and go down into the burl. That's what Angelo does with them too.
Yeah.
Anybody else on this?
Did you see my slideshow from a while back? You might get some ideas from that.
Yeah, Toby has done a brilliant slideshow on dissecting a big burl.
I don't believe I did. No.
Okay, Toby, if you know the date when you did it for coffee hour, we can tell him that. It's within the last 5 or 6 coffee hours.
Yeah, probably check it out on YouTube. You should be able to see it there.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks back.
He also posted it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's on my John Kelsey Artisan on YouTube. It'll be there on one of the recent coffee hours.
Little bit of interest, but may or may not interest anybody. I worked for IBM for 34 years as a computer maintenance and computer programming, and retired in 91 and needed something else to do. So I wound up going to work for a railroad as an engineer, and that picture up there was my ride.
We aren't quite seeing it. Let me get the speaker view here. Let me get a different view. Hang on a second.
For me, it's in the upper left-hand corner.
Oh, I'm seeing it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's a full-size General Motors F7 locomotive, 1,500 horsepower.
Well, you could always put your burl. You could always put your burl on the railroad track.
I think.
How many cylinders did that engine have?
Excuse me?
How many cylinders did that engine have? I asked because my son is now working for Caterpillar, which makes those locomotive engines.
It's a 16-cylinder engine.
Yep.
Each cylinder is 640 cubic inches displacement.
Yeah.
Yeah. I worked on the ferry boat one summer, and the cylinders were the size of dinner plates. Yeah.
Yeah. These look like paint cans.
Yeah.
You get them out. But it sounds nice. It's got a nice rumble to it. And always enjoyed listening to them.
Thanks very much, Glenn. I'm going to move us along. A lot of hands up today. Mike Golka, you had your hand up there a minute ago. You want to just keep on with it?
Sure. Just this is what I was talking about, how to use the burl to make vases. You can see
Wow.
this piece here, kind of the diagonal matches this diagonal. So it's an idea.
So is that aluminite or epoxy or what is that?
That's epoxy. Yeah,
Epoxy.
I use designer epoxy.
Deep pour?
Yep.
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 Nice piece.
And here, well, a couple of weeks ago, I showed a piece I was experimenting with carving into a turned vessel and then filling it with epoxy. And the test went pretty good. So
Wait a minute. How'd you carve those butterflies?
my CNC.
Okay.
I have a CNC router, so when it's on the thing, then you have to probe your piece so you get the outline.
Yeah.
So that the machine knows where to machine the butterflies in on the curve.
So the butterfly's epoxy, not a wood inlay, right?
Yep. And here's another one. I still haven't got it off the chuck yet. I got another coat of finish to put on, but this one I did 3 larger butterflies.
Wow.
There's a lot of glare on there, but
We see what you're up to, though, and that's how does that epoxy come out multicolored? It looks like blue, green, turquoise.
Well, it's I believe I mixed two different dyes. One is no, this is actually just a turquoise. This some other ones they did. I sometimes mix a white with it, and it'll give that effect. But this one is just they call it turquoise, and these are pigments from designer epoxy, and they kind of give you that little bit of shimmer or whatever inside too.
What's the importance of the butterfly as an image for you?
Nothing really, just
You just like it.
I just like butterflies. Yeah.
It's got to be a really small cutter to get that detail.
Yeah, it's I use a tapered ball nose, and
Okay.
the tip is a 0.25 millimeter radius.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's really
Like
small.
half a
Yeah.
millimeter point.
That's really that's a 50th of an inch.
Yeah, and
How deep does it go?
you can go, you can go as deep as you want, but this is probably, I think I set my depth to around an eighth of an inch. You don't need a lot because
Okay.
the wall
Yeah.
thickness is only, the wall thickness on the vessel is around a quarter inch. So
Gorgeous detail. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I've, sorry?
How do you set that up to do a curve on your CNC machine?
Okay, so I have a probe that it's electronic, so you program it and it'll just move along and it'll go down and it'll read the depth on so this would be the Z-axis going up and down. So it tells it when it triggers, it's okay, now I know what the depth is. And then it'll a whole bunch of points all along, give me a point cloud, and I can import that into my software, and it'll actually connect the dots and draw the curve. And then once you do that, then you can revolve it, and you'll actually come up with a 3D file that looks just like that vase. And then you put your butterflies on that, and it's all done through software. Jeff Hankinson does a bunch of this kind of stuff too with his setup. Like when he's carving onto vessels like that, I believe he turns his vessel and then probes it.
how do you pour the epoxy on a curved surface like that?
Okay, so that's a good question. So what I do is I take hot melt glue and I'll run a little bead along here and go all the way around. And then I'll take a piece of 6 mil poly while the hot glue is still hot and just stick it on there. and the poly actually kind of melts into the hot melt glue, and then you have a little pocket here at the top where you just pour your epoxy in, so it all sits like that. And you got all these little cups that sit around like that. Pour your epoxy in, and bother
Then
your
you-
uncle.
Then you turn it all off, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, after it's all cured, put it back on the lathe, and
So you can pour the 4 cups at once
yes,
and they
yeah.
cure together. I was thinking you had to cure each one separately. I thought, boy, that's
No.
going to take a long time.
No, and I've similar to the Falcon bowl that was shown earlier.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of cremation urns for folks, and I use the same technique to carve into the flat segments, and then fill them with epoxy. I make a lot of angels, and I use a white dye in there. That's actually it's a mica powder, so it gives you a lot of shimmer, and they turn out really nice. You can turn them deep enough so that when you do the final turn of the ring, if you put a light inside, the angels would glow.
So where are you calling in from, Mike?
Just north of Edmonton in Alberta. I'm part of
Okay.
the Edmonton Woodturners group here
Yeah.
with
With
Bert
all these,
and Stu,
yeah.
and yeah, there's a bunch of us on here.
Yep, okay. Any more questions for Mike? All right, let's see, Mark Nolte. What do you got today? I love the mask in your background.
Thank you. That's hand carved. It's the sun mask that I carved. About 500 hours in that.
It's a nice piece.
Yeah, thank you. So I turned a little piece here. It's hollow. So I got a finial on it with a lid. Pops off. This is this little shape. And then I turned the stand and carved the stand out. This is a box elder burl, and the stand and the finial is done with ash, and it's been stained with dark walnut.
Now that's a decorative piece, right? Or do you have a function
Yeah,
in mind for that?
It's a decorative piece. Most of my pieces I turn now are orientated towards this. I gave up on turning bowls and things like that.
Nice piece. Any questions for Mark?
So I guess you drilled a bunch of holes crossways on that base and then carved it out.
Yes, so I mean, basically, I turned the basic shape, and then, like you say, I drilled some holes like this, and then carved. Used that as a starting point for carving it. Yes.
That's lovely.
Yeah, nice work.
Thank you.
Nice work. Well, Mike P., since you got your hand up and you're on, why don't you show us what you have today?
Okay, nothing real fancy. I turned this. I had a red oak tree come down my yard recently, so I've been target of opportunity making a number of bowls, and this is a red oak bowl. The only thing noticeable about it really is I turned feet on it and did a little rim treatment, and it's of course gone oval because I turned it one time.
What is the wood again?
Red oak.
Red oak. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Free wood. There's better wood, but you know, when it's in your yard, you just point to the log and tell them to move it over to your chainsaw area. It's convenient.
Indeed. Is that it for you?
That's it.
Questions for Mike? Okay. George Keepers, what do you have today? Looking at you.
I have a small hole for him. And I figured I'll cut it in half and see how good my wall thickness is. It's about 3/16.
Why did you cut it? How did you, wait a minute, you cut it in half after turning it, right?
Yeah, hollowed it out by salt basically, in order to get the right wall thickness. Ended up at about 3/16 of an inch and glued it back together. Not the same way, but a little offset.
Is there a flat spot on that where it stands up?
Yeah, I got a little thing. Oh, nope,
Oop,
there we go.
don't smash it.
No, it didn't break.
So that's also a decorative piece, right? You're not going to
Yeah,
put your guacamole in that one.
yeah, totally useless.
Yeah. Hold it up again so we can have a better look. Yeah. That's a nice effect.
But about 3/4 of an inch hole.
Do you
It's all
call that,
beautiful.
do you call that Humpty Dumpty?
Yeah, I might as well. It fell down too.
Any more questions for George?
That's
It's
all
a
I've got
very,
today.
very nice piece, George, and the effect of cutting it and gluing it back, it really makes it something different and special.
Yeah, it's a little
Great
different.
idea.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is indeed.
What are you
Just
using
cut
for,
that on the bandsaw, George?
Yeah, just a bandsaw.
And then sand the surface?
Yeah, just on sand it flat, and I glued the little strips in here to glue it back together.
What are the little strips doing? I'm not sure. Not sure I'm seeing those.
No, well, you don't see them, but just reinforcing
I see.
the whole glue.
So the outside of the top part meets the inside of the bottom part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comments for George?
what are you
Nice work.
using for hollowing on such a small opening, hollowing tool?
I have the Bosch hollower.
Okay.
I have a midi lathe, so it's a small one. It's not a big one. 5/8, but 1/2 inch tools basically. Works just fine.
All right. Any more comments for George?
You don't have a laser or anything. You're doing it by eye or feel,
No, just by sound.
by sound. Okay,
Yeah.
good, good.
That's my problem with greenwood. You don't hear a sound, and half the time I go through the side.
Yeah. And then it moves around on you anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else? I'm saving you for last, Kai, because I think you might have something. Don Svob.
Morning. I have a piece of that I had turned. I might as well just leave it where it is.
Yeah,
It's
we've seen it.
hard maple. This section right here is the where the root ball was, and what happened is the ants got into the roots and ate it out, and the tree fell over. There was still green on the top of some of the branches, but the roots had all rotted away, and so now I end up with just a piece of heavy fungus root ball, which is very wet, and inside of it there was earthworms, mud, and all kinds of ants and all kinds of bugs and everything else. So originally this was supposed to go this way, is the way I started turning it, and then I was just going to put a little flare out at the very tip. The problem I ran into is this here section being so thin with strength, I couldn't get a good purchase on it to reverse it to turn from this side unless I ran a set of bearings and so forth, and I didn't want to bother trying that. So I said, well, why not just try something a little different? So I did this in a radius, and then I took and did this in a reverse radius, so that this is one these two are the same radius.
Right.
And the problem I have is like to glue in a ball, when you end up with a few holes, it's very awkward to stay perfectly round. So I ended up cutting a piece of maple to the radius. I think it's a 14-inch radius, and I put sandpaper on it, and then I just put the block on and turned that one, and then the other piece that was cut out of it, I used it to blend these two together, and that was the way I managed to keep this shape. I had to use almost a large container of super glue to hold it together so it wouldn't blow out, and here's a piece that came out. So it was more of a challenge, but it was fun.
Let's see the bottom again. Yeah, now is that an opening there? Yeah.
Yeah, I put a hole in there because I wanted to be able to put it outside on the driveway and just let it rot. And so any rain that goes in it, water has a way to escape.
Why do you want to put it on the driveway and let it rot?
Well, nature wanted it to rot. Why don't I just let it do it?
Well, why do you need to get in the middle of the transaction?
There is that point.
I think that would make a great lamp. You ever thought about making it into a lamp?
It would. I thought it would make a nice little marker for an entrance to a house.
I'd go with the lamp. I really think that would be spectacular inside the house with a lamp shade on it.
Yeah.
I think you should put a little speaker down there with ghoulish sounds in it when people come up to your door.
If you did do it as a lamp, you could put a light on the inside, and then the light would radiate through those holes. Would be pretty spectacular also. Beautiful piece.
Thank you.
More comments for Don? Okay. Thank you, Don. Over to you, Kai.
Okay. Beginning.
Got it.
So, 2 weeks ago, John asked about maker spaces in Germany, and I had a quick look at the internet, and I found a few maker spaces all over Germany, 376, it said, but they cover a very wide range of activities like computing, robotics, 3D printing, laser engraving, even sewing, metalworking, woodworking, and very few of them have a lathe. I had a look at fees as well. Some asked for about 25 euros, could be $25, something like that, per month, and even offer access all day, all night. And regulars get a chip in some places to open the doors, and also some of the machines require a chip so that you can run them. You have to do some instructions first or get some instructions first before you are allowed to use the machine, and then you get your chip programmed in a way that you can start the machine. I myself would have to drive around 50 kilometers or 30 miles to the nearest makerspace. So that is something you don't do at an impulse. You have to have something special in mind and then go there for the day maybe. Otherwise, it's not worth it.
So you consider 30 miles a long distance. I mean, we know people who commute 30 miles every morning.
Yes, some people in Germany do as well, but for me it's a long distance, yes.
Yeah.
Germany is much smaller than the States, so maybe that's the reason. Yeah, but I prefer to have my workshop in the cellar, in the basement, so it's just a few steps down and I can use my lathe. I don't have to drive for it. So that's where I live, for example, and here you can see the maker spaces around. So they are often centered in bigger cities like Frankfurt, but here in the more countryside, we don't have our own maker spaces. One thing I found that is quite interesting, we have a problem in Germany in inner cities. A lot of the small shops give up because people buy via the internet or they go to bigger shopping centers. So the small inner city shops, they disappear. And so inner cities lose attractivity for shoppers. And they die out quickly. Yeah. They are. There's
We
not much
we
going
have
on.
this. We have the same issue here.
Yeah. So that's a pity because there are a lot of nice buildings with shops, but it's not much happening there. And so there are efforts to make the inner cities more attractive. And there's one club that's also about maybe 30 miles from where I live. And they use a small shop that is rented by the city council for them, or the city council pays for it. And they do wood turning demonstrations there, courses, and they also sell their turned products, their own turned products. So that's kind of the deal. They have a space where they can sell. As it is a club, it is only open on Saturdays from 10 in the morning till 5 in the afternoon. But that's quite a nice idea to make inner cities more attractive. They told me the city council wants to withdraw the money slowly. They have to pay for rent to the owners of the house, and they have to generate their own income. So they want to offer more courses and do demonstrations at festivals and things like this, where they can earn a little money to contribute towards the rent. Here are some photos. So that's the shop they rent, putting up their sign, Drechselei.
So is this the one that's 30 miles away from you?
Yes, that's also 30 miles, about 30 miles away from me, yeah.
Yeah. So you went there to get these pictures for us, yeah?
No, I actually took them from their website.
Okay.
I went there once, but I didn't take any pictures at that time.
Okay. And Drechsler is a turning. It means turning, doesn't it?
Yeah, Drechselei means turnery.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a turning workshop. And die Rundmacher means those who make things round.
Yep,
that's us.
Yeah. So that's the inside. They have one kind of old lathe that was even manufactured in the same town by a company, and they have a small, more modern one as well. They put on a table, and they demonstrate for people who do shopping in the area, for example, and just drop in to have a look at what's going on.
So they're kind of in a showroom window there doing demonstrating and people come in, yeah?
Sorry, I didn't understand that.
They're kind of in the shop window so people can see from the street?
Yes, yes. It's a big shop window, like here you can see the shop window, and they are just behind the window, and they can open the doors, so people are invited to come in when the weather is nice.
That would be kind of fun to have.
Yeah, so that's quite an interesting thing to make wood turning more popular, and then to sell your products at the same time as a wood turner if you don't go to markets, for example, and stuff like that. And I have one more small thing that I remembered when Don showed us some photos, Don Smith, 2 weeks ago. He said he had to rush to the lathe to get the tool in the right position, so that then his camera took the photo. So I came up with a different concept for taking photos, especially for writing articles, which I wanted to show you, and Don as well, of course. I put my mobile phone on a tripod, and I connect a small TV to it so that I can see on the TV screen what the camera of the smartphone sees. And I built a foot-operated remote control using this little gadget here, which is normally used for taking photos of yourself or something like that. And you hold it in your hand and press this button, and I put it into a foot pedal that I can touch lightly when I want to take a photo. So this makes it possible to take photos working at the lathe while you hold the tools. You don't have to hold the camera. That's quite useful, and that works with Bluetooth. It's Bluetooth.
Kai, can I mention something? I have an Android phone, and my camera, all I've got to do is say cheese, and it automatically snaps the picture or starts the video.
Yeah, I tried that as well. That's an alternative kind of voice control for the smartphone. I have an iPhone that you can program with one word, like photo or something like this. And when you say the word, it takes a photo. I found this foot-operated Bluetooth remote to be more reliable than the voice control if you have a lot of noise in the workshop. But that might work in other cases. So that's an alternative. But
I can take a picture with my trick glasses just by saying, "Hey, Meta, take a picture." But if I've got a lathe going, I have to yell.
Yeah.
So my wife hears me down in the shop yelling and bellowing at my glasses. It's really pretty stupid.
Yeah, but that works really nice to put the smartphone on tripod and then either use your voice to operate it or a remote control, and then have this TV connected to the smartphone makes it easier, because if you stand somewhere here at the lathe, you cannot look at the smartphone at the same time.
And you can get out of your own way that way.
Yeah, and here you can exactly see where your tool is and what you're doing and when you want to take the photo for an article or like the morning coffee or whatever.
And are you casting your phone to the TV screen? How are you connecting the phone to the screen?
I've got a little kind of adapter that connects to the smartphone, and that has got an HDMI socket where I can connect my.
It's going by a wire, it looks like.
Yeah, it's going by a wire, connecting this to the TV screen. There might be more elegant ways to do it, but I got the adapter for free, and so I use that. And it also offers a possibility to connect a power supply for the smartphone. So that's the other cable going down here. It's the power supply for the smartphone. So I don't.
This is just me in a similar situation. I did a thing like that for quite a while, and I found I was forever tripping over the tripod and kicking the tripod. And so I mounted the tripod the apparatus from the ceiling rather than have it on the floor, so that I don't get my feet tangled up in it at all. And that made an enormous difference in the utility of the setup for me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I can try that as well, because I've got a kind of a rail at the ceiling anyway for my video camera, so I could connect I could try.
Yeah, and you could drop an arm down, or an arm that articulates with the camera on it. Once you start to play with the idea, you can get that tripod right out of there, because at least for me, I found it was a real hazard.
Yeah, sometimes you have to squeeze yourself between the tripod and the lathe.
Yeah, and then when something goes a little bit unexpected, over goes the tripod with your phone.
Yeah.
Or over goes you with the tool in your hand, one or the other.
Okay. Yeah, that was just something I wanted to show. Then you don't have to run to your lathe if you use kind of a remote, what is it, a timer or something like this in your phone.
Kai, I use a similar arrangement. I call it a confidence monitor. And when I record. If I'm out in the shop, I'll just have the camera set up and I'll just record it, the whole session. And then if I need pictures, I go back in and I can go frame by frame and get the picture that I want and do a snapshot, so I can get individual pictures. And I don't have to worry about tripping a switch or anything. I just record the whole session. Then when I go back through and look and say, oh, there's this picture that I wanted to show somebody, I just take a snapshot of the picture. So that but I got the confidence monitor so that I know that if I put something and I want to show something, I can look at the TV screen and say, I'm getting the part of the video that I want to show somebody, and the rest of it, 90% of it's garbage. But the 5 or 10% that I need, I can just pull the pictures out.
The issue with that, Bert, is going to be resolution if you're going to go for publication. Kai's writing articles for magazines and needs a higher res picture than you're going to get off your video that way.
Well, I got 1080p. That's all I can get is 1080p. But you're right. You're absolutely right. But for most of the people that are looking at my pictures, they're more than adequate. I mean,
yes, of course. Yeah, they're perfectly good for this purpose.
Yeah, if you don't want them for printing, I think it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Kai, do you have any problem? Go ahead.
Can I just reply to Kai? Thanks for picking that up, Kai. Just one thing, I do have the camera set on a tripod. I set the angle of the photo on the lathe before, then I set it on a 10-second timer. That's why my tools are never in the right position, because 10 seconds is not very long to get into position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's that.
Yeah, so the switch or voice control seems to be more elegant than using the timer, because it gives you more control and you don't have to rush or hurry. You don't have to put yourself under time pressure, which I don't like at all.
Well, you do seem to sound like a lunatic to anybody else in the house yelling at your phone.
and setting for multiple shots. So you can set your camera for multiple shots. So if you got your self timer on, you've got a chance of getting several shots.
Yeah. I recommend the trick glasses. Solves it all.
Okay, that's it.
Hey, Kai,
okay,
Kai, do you have any trouble with dust or chips getting into the foot pedal?
No, not really. I have to clean it once in a while. That's right, but normally I don't. But I have to admit, I've used it so far for smaller turnings like spinning tops and stuff like this, where you don't produce that amount of chips anyway. If you use it for bowl turning or things like that, where you produce lots and lots of chips in a short time, maybe then it can be a problem.
You'd bury that foot switch pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bowman, you want to use up the last couple of minutes with a quickie?
Hey, that would be great. Thank you.
Go for it.
You're
on. You got the spotlight on you. Go for it.
Indeed. I have. Are you guys seeing it?
Yes.
I have gotten a set of those Cove cutters, I believe you call them. You guys in Canada, I think, were the ones that put it on to. I think maybe it was Sherry originally.
Yeah, they make the eyes for birds, for bird carvers.
Right. Well, this is this is on a high speed. It's a high speed thing. I should have pictured one here.
Yeah.
I love it. I have been having fun with it, and I had made a winged double bowled platter out of a chunk of cherry, fresh green cherry from a branch a friend gave me, and I got to decorating and ended up putting, this is silver, this is cherry, and I dyed it with I think it was blue or purple maybe, and then sanded it back. And then let me see. I'm going to see the most efficient way to go here yet.
Wow.
Now, it's a three-sided, let me see if I can switch over. It's a twisted cherry vase, and it was for a branch which had like 50% sapwood and 50% good hardwood. And the one side of this thing had all white wood. And I said, that's just so ugly. And I said, wait a minute, I'm going to have fun and make some art here. Now, this is my first attempt at doing this. And then I dyed it blue again on cherry just for the heck of it. I thought Toby does it on some crazy stuff. Now, I do it a little different than him, but I try to learn from him. So that, and then I carved a little bit with saber-tooth carvers to make a little bit indent, and then I put the dye in there, and it got too dark, which would be my other statement. So
that's a nice looking thing.
Yeah, well, thank you.
What is it? What's the bottle thing?
That's place markers. Sorry. It's a vase that I normally put a test tube in. It's just an inch hole. And I have to have these. I put lead in the bottom so it doesn't top over. And so I'm restricted by the test tube I can use, and these are the only ones I have, and I haven't cut off the tops yet.
I was trying to figure out how you got the bottle inside there.
Yeah, it's not bad to have a lid on them. You can carry your blood.
Damn right, that's pretty good.
Gee, this
Oh,
is a flask for those of you who are getting off the wagon, because it only holds a couple cc's in there. So, all right, guys,
Okay.
that was my fun.
Jim,
Thank you very
Jim,
much,
I
Jim.
just want to say welcome to the dark side there, Jim. You were
Oh,
sitting while
God.
we were doing embellishing, and now it's lovely to see you joining in.
I tell you, Sherry, you got me hooked. You know, are you seeing that? I just wanted to. Are you guys still seeing me? Yeah.
Yeah, we
You
are.
see what I did with the bottom? I'm decorating done mine like this. Maybe I'm too much done now, but I really decorated the bottom with those. Yeah, it's a dark side, Sherry. I actually had to make a smoke extractor. Fortunately, my extractor I use for lacquer spraying works great to suck the smoke out of my shop. So, all right, guys.
Okay, all y'all, thank you very much. Very interesting morning as always, and we'll see you all next week, same time, same place.
Let's see you next week, everyone.
Everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye, Don. See ya.
Bring your friends. Whoa.